Pierre Bourdieu's Symbolic Violence in Society. Pierre Bourdieu, a French sociologist, introduced a powerful concept known as symbolic violence that explains how social power works in subtle and often unnoticed ways. To understand symbolic violence, it is essential to think beyond traditional forms of violence, such as physical violence, and instead look at the more hidden and cultural ways in which power is exerted over individuals and groups within society. Symbolic violence refers to the imposition of the dominant cultural norms, values, and practices on individuals, often without them realizing it. It is a type of power that works not through coercion or force but through persuasion and the normalization of certain behaviors, making them seem natural or inevitable. In essence, it is about influencing people's thoughts, behaviors, and perceptions so that they accept the social order as it is, even when it may not be in their best interests. One of the main ways in which symbolic violence operates is through what Bourdieu called habitus. Habitus refers to the deeply ingrained habits, skills, and dispositions that we acquire through our life experiences, particularly from family, education, and social class. These are not conscious choices but are learned over time, shaping how we perceive the world and how we act within it. Habitus plays a central role in symbolic violence because it is through it that individuals come to internalize the social norms and expectations of the dominant group in society. For example, when someone from a working-class background aspires to a professional career, they may do so without ever questioning the underlying assumptions of social mobility. However, their idea of success is shaped by the values and norms of the middle or upper classes, who dominate the societal discourse. Through symbolic violence, the working class may accept these values without resistance, believing that achieving a professional career is the only way to measure success, even though this ideal may not align with their personal circumstances or desires. The working-class individual may not question the existing social structures, because they have internalized these values as part of their habitus, as what is normal or natural. Another crucial aspect of symbolic violence is its connection to cultural capital. Cultural capital refers to the knowledge, education, and cultural experiences that individuals acquire and use to navigate society. Those who possess more cultural capital, such as advanced degrees, knowledge of high culture, or familiarity with elite institutions, hold power because they are able to define what is considered proper or acceptable behavior. For example, the ability to speak the right language, understand certain art forms, or engage in elite cultural practices is often seen as a sign of education and sophistication. People who lack cultural capital may be viewed as inferior or less competent, regardless of their actual abilities or knowledge. Symbolic violence works by reinforcing these distinctions. By framing certain cultural knowledge and practices as superior, individuals who do not have access to them are subtly oppressed. This form of violence is not physical but rather psychological and cultural, as those without the right cultural capital may feel inferior, excluded, or marginalized. As a result, they may internalize these perceptions of themselves and accept the social hierarchy as legitimate. In this way, symbolic violence perpetuates inequality by making it seem as if the social structure is fair and based on merit, even though it is shaped by hidden power dynamics. In the realm of education, symbolic violence becomes even more evident. Schools and universities are often seen as institutions that promote equality and opportunity. However, according to Bourdieu, they play a significant role in reinforcing social inequalities. The educational system, while outwardly neutral, tends to privilege the cultural capital of the middle and upper classes. For instance, students from wealthier backgrounds are more likely to be exposed to a broader range of cultural experiences and receive more support for their educational aspirations. On the other hand, students from working-class backgrounds may struggle to fit into an education system that is tailored to the cultural values and practices of the elite. By promoting certain ways of thinking and being, the education system, like other institutions, contributes to symbolic violence. It imposes dominant cultural norms and values on all students, shaping their perception of what is valuable and worthy. Those who fail to conform to these ideals are often labeled as unsuccessful or lacking potential, without acknowledging the social structures that make it harder for them to succeed. Bourdieu also emphasized that symbolic violence is not only about oppression but also about the ways in which people resist or accept these social norms. Individuals and groups may not always consciously accept the values of the dominant group, but they often comply because they have internalized them to such an extent that they are seen as self-evident truths. This means that the violence is not always external or visible, but is embedded within our understanding of the world and our place in it. For example, in the context of gender, women may experience symbolic violence when they are expected to conform to societal expectations about their appearance, behavior, and roles in family and work life. These expectations are deeply ingrained in cultural norms and can be so pervasive that women may not question them. Instead, they may view these norms as part of their identity, which is a result of symbolic violence that has shaped their worldview. In this sense, symbolic violence can be seen as a form of control that operates through consent rather than coercion, making it all the more difficult to challenge. Moreover, symbolic violence is perpetuated by the media and other forms of communication, which have the power to shape public opinion and define what is considered normal in society. Television shows, advertisements, news outlets, and social media all play a significant role in reinforcing certain ideas about beauty, success, morality, and other social values. These messages often reflect the interests of powerful groups in society, further entrenching social inequalities. For example, the media's portrayal of beauty standards often reinforces narrow and unrealistic ideals, leaving many people feeling inadequate or excluded if they do not meet these standards. Symbolic violence, then, operates as an invisible but pervasive force in society. It is through this type of power that certain groups are able to maintain dominance and control, not by force or oppression, but by shaping how people think and act. The idea that certain cultural norms are unnatural and normal is a key mechanism of symbolic violence. It works by creating a world where people accept social hierarchies, inequalities, and power structures as inevitable, rather than questioning or challenging them. In conclusion, symbolic violence, as defined by Pierre Bourdieu, provides a lens through which we can understand the subtle, often invisible ways in which power operates in society. It is a form of violence that is not physical but psychological and cultural, working to shape people's perceptions and behaviors in ways that reinforce existing social structures. By recognizing how symbolic violence operates in various aspects of life, such as education, media, and social norms, we can begin to challenge these power dynamics and work towards a more equitable and just society. Bourdieu's theory invites us to critically examine the ways in which we are socialized and to question the legitimacy of the values and norms that we accept as natural. If you found this article insightful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content on social theories and their relevance to our lives.